Friday afternoon, and three of us are just heading off around to the shops to get some drinks and things. And heading down here, and we've just noticed that somebody seems to have been taking their tree for a walk and left it in the park. So if anybody's missing a tree, or it's run off from home or anything, just come on down to the Paul Crescent Reserve, and this is where you can find your tree, take it home. Or otherwise we might have to call the Society for the Protection of Trees. Now, East Coast, if you're not from New Zealand, you probably won't know about this, but language on the East Coast of New Zealand, it's North Island, has its own particular idiosyncrasies. For example, you don't go in the car, you go on the car. But that's okay because that's offset because you go for a ride in the motorbike.
In.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah, so
in the horse?
Yeah, so it's on the car and in the motorbike.
What about with a horse? In the horse.
Yeah, they might go for a ride in the horse, but we just don't talk about that. Not in polite public, not in polite conversation. And then there's wonderful catchphrases like "chur bro."
I think you said it wrong. Not gonna try, but I'm pretty sure you said it wrong.
And it always astounds me how a group of people will say, "Hey, you want to meet over things place then?" And they can understand exactly
context
what's being talked about without any context. Without any context at all. It does help that most small towns have only got 3 or 4 places that they might go, and if most of those people are already there, then they're obviously talking about the single person that's absent. Either that or the entire town is telepathic. So I just paid $2 for some sort of confectionery. I'm not quite sure what it is. What have we got there, Em? And what is it?
It's like a rolly thing. It kind of looks like the what's it called?
A lint roller?
Yeah. No. A thing. What's it called? I don't know. No, what is it?
So today I haven't really gotten around to filming a proper vlog, so I'm going to compensate for it by showing you how to create some title generators using Motion and Final Cut X. Most other editing packages should have something similar available to it for creating a templated piece of footage or something that you can insert for your titles, lower thirds and your end frame. The reason I use these, firstly it's just to save myself a bit of time during the edit, and secondly is to make sure that things are consistent and I don't forget things, and particularly with the end screen, it makes sure it lines up nicely with the YouTube video and subscribe buttons and things like that that are on that nice new end template thing that they've given us. Anyway, first things first, I will start by just having a look. I've got my blank timeline here, as you can see. What I'm going to do is click on titles and generators and just choose a basic title and drag it down. Now this is what I used to do. Pull my title up top, left align it, vlog title, maybe put in the date, and clickbait tagline for today. And then what I do is I'll just grab each of these in turn and make it a bit bigger. I'll set the font to something more title-like. Impact is nice and generic. Grab the next line, increase the size of that so that it roughly lines up. I never bother being particularly pedantic with that because it's not sitting on the screen long enough for anyone to really notice. So I've got all of that. I usually tidy up a bit of line spacing just to make it a bit snappier to look at, and then leave that alone and line it up in the corner of the screen. So that's the typical thing I do each time when I create the title. As you can see, it takes a minute or so, and it's a bit of work each time, and I'm not always getting it in exactly the same sizes, not always getting exactly the same spacing and everything like that, so it's not consistent, it's not particularly professional. So I decided I just wanted to make it line up better each time, set it up as a template that I can come in and edit, so I can drop it onto the timeline and then just tweak the text and not worry about the formatting. So what I'll do is I can take that basic title block that I've got here, right click on that, and I can open it in Motion. It's a great thing that Final Cut has got, is that ability to interrupt between these two applications very easily. So I open that up in Motion. I'll just go full screen on that, and here I've got pretty much the same thing I just had before. There's a bit of text. I'll pull it up here, I'll jump into the inspector. Where have we got impact again? Nice and simple. Vlog 001, my title, line, long, clickbait, line. There we go. And then we just do the same sort of thing. So I select that line, increase the size of it to something that I roughly want, grab the next line underneath it, I will increase that as well, and finally select the clickbait line and just tweak that to around about the same width. Okie dokie, just tidy up line spacing a little. It's a nice simple little block. Obviously you can go as far out as you want with it, absolutely crazy. And now I can just set that up into the corner and we're all good. There you go. If I want to as well, I can set up a couple of other things. Now you don't know what your background's always going to be, so you can come straight into appearances here and set an outline, change the color to black. By default it's red, and I just like to give it a bit of a shadow around it, so a blur of 4 pixels and a width of 8 pixels. What that does is it, if I was on a white background here or a coloured background, it would just give a outline around each of the characters so that they remain visible on lighter colours. And that's about it. So then I can grab that, file menu, save as. It says, right, what's my new template name? Vlog header X. I'm going to create a new theme called X theme, just for lack of a better name, and publish that. Now while I'm here, I'm going to do two other things. I'll grab another text block, I'll put it in roughly in the middle here, and then I can go that goes on for a bit. So that's roughly what you have in your typical lower third, is a header and an informational line. So I can put that here. I'll just increase the size of the header a little bit, and I'm just going to change the color of the header line a little. So I just go appearance, face, color, and I'm going to make it yellow. Excellent. So then we can go save as, and then I can just call it X lower third. There you go. I've now got my second item there. If I drop back now to Final Cut, and you can see my timeline here, what I'm going to do is just quickly insert a generator for a placeholder. The placeholder generator is really good if you want to set some stuff up without having your footage ready. You can just drop it in, and there it is, and you've got something to work with. So I've got that. In my titles I can just do a search for X, because I know that I've called my things that. There we go, X theme down the bottom here. So I've got my vlog header, I can just drop that on, and then I've got a lower third for, say I've got some information starting into it a little bit. As you can see, there's the lower third turns up, it's there, it's all laid out, and the header's there, it's got my formatting and everything on it. I can just double click it here, GZ vlog title generated, triple click on that again to select the whole line. Just reduce the size of it a little until it lines up, and it's good to go. Now the last bit I want to create is a little more complicated, but quite important. This is the bit that really drives a lot of the subscribes and clicks you get, is getting that whole end plate, end screen, or whatever you want to call it, ready that's got your video links and your subscribe button, and you want to make it as attractive and impulsive for people as possible to click on it and subscribe to your channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back to motion where we are here again, and I will actually just come and open this in motion, so I've got the font ready. So we're going to roughly use the lower third thing again. This time what I'll do is I'll grab that line and paste it in there. One of the things you want to have in your end screen each time is a music credit. Just about all the music you're going to be using on the YouTube these days is under Creative Commons licenses and things like that. So you at least want to put an attribution, Joe Blogs, and the Muddy Blood Veins. I have no idea if it's a real band, I just made it up. Would be a good name for a band. If you do call your band that, come back and give me some credit for it. I like to have a bit of a line at the top that says, thanks for coming and checking out the vlog. Hey, you views are really awesome. Thanks for checking out my channel. There you go. Quick line like that, and then another line underneath. Once again, increase the size of that line, triple click the line to select it all, increase the size of it so it fills up most of the screen. So that's pretty cool, and then I just triple click that line, reduce the line spacing to bring that second line up a little bit, and there you go. Now if you want to be a little bit fancier here, you can view guides and set up a vertical guide here. Drag that across so that it lines up with those letters, and then just pull this over so that matches up as well. That's a nice little trick. Just make sure things are a little bit tidier and a bit more professional. I'm going to duplicate this line here and bring a copy of it up to about here. There's a reason for doing that is I'm going to put a line in here that says watch my previous vlog. This is a good line to put in. It shows people that there's a history to your vlog. It lets them go back and check out previous things that you've been doing. I'll make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be particularly large, and I can just put that bit there, and that's all good to go. What I'm going to do also is bring down a new guide. I'm going to use a horizontal guide this time. I'm going to line that up along the top of there. So I will select that, then I will go copy and paste on my keyboard. So I've got another copy of this one. It puts it right on top, so it doesn't look like you've done it, but it has done. And I'm going to bring that right over the other side, and I'm just going to say click here to subscribe. Now straight above here is where I'm going to put that nice little round subscribe ball that YouTube are nice enough to give us by default. And to make sure people understand where you want to go and where you want to click, in motion I've got this nice little paint tool here. So what I'll do is I'm just going to create an arrow that sweeps around a bit like that, and I'll set the brush color for that to yellow. Whether your editing suite has this sort of thing or not, I don't know. If it does, it's cool to use it. If it doesn't, it's no big deal. Mine's just going to be better, and it's a good reason to go get Final Cut in motion. I'm going to get flamed for that, I just not. Then I'm going to create another one of those up over here, and it's just going to say arrow that way, another arrow that way, and I'll just set all of that up and make those yellow as well. And there you go. If you're going to get real clever later on, you could grab all of these components, you could animate them, change the colouring, cycle things. You can get really obnoxious and annoy the hell out of your users by using the flash tags and stuff like that that was deprecated. Never ever use a flash tag, please. And there we go. So now I can save that off. I'm just going to be fancy and change the appearance of all that text. And this is the sort of thing that's easy to forget to do when you're doing it in line on the time. So I'll just set that as 4 and 8, so it's the same as what I've had before. And last bit is just that please click to subscribe line, and I'm going to change the text color to sort of an orangey thing somewhere in the middle there, and I will just call that one X end screen. It's belonging to the X theme there, as you can see, and publish that, and there you go. So we'll drop back to Final Cut. There we go, and here's my end screen, so I can put my end screen over that little bit of video I've got at the end. As you can see, everything's popped up here, and when I go into and export this into YouTube, I can add the end screen template things. I can fit one in here quite nicely for a video. I can put another video in here if I want, or some other subscribe buttons, but I can put my subscribe button here, and I've got this here pointing at it, and it'll come up and be visible and ready to go. So that's a relatively simple exercise. Next time I come in, create this, all of this is here ready for me, so I can just reuse it. Hopefully your editing suite does the same. If not, feel free to move to Final Cut Pro. It just makes life so much bloody easier as far as I'm concerned. Right, thank you very much, have a good evening, and see you tomorrow.